Ford Mustang Mach-E electric car in static. Couple crossover. If such a body style didn't exist before, it should have been invented for the Mustang Mach-E electric car. Low and wide with massive hips of the rear wheels, arches and a sloping drop roof. I usually try to avoid the usual media cliches, but for the sake of the Ford Mustang Mach-E, I will say even in static condition it radiates dynamics and speed, and it underlines its attachment to the Mustang family in every possible way. The characteristic logo, the form of a galloping horse, can be found literally everywhere, on the nose and back, on the wheel covers. Interestingly, the traditional blue oval Ford can be found. Are they preparing to transfer Mustang into a separate brand? That is the first general impression, but how much interesting is hidden in the detail? The first thing we noticed is the button to open the door, small circles on the window pillar, which should be easily touched to open the door. At the front there are tiny handles resembling airplane flaps. At the back you have to grab the edge of the door. In terms of originality, the door handles can be challenged only by the optic. You subconsciously expect no throwing headlights from such car. A horizontal line arrow has been added to classical 3-section Mustang leather. As a result, a sort of stingray tail has appeared, which sends us back to another iconic sport car from the USA. The appearance came out not simple, still it is difficult to cross a couple and crossovers, but certainly memorable and dynamic. The electric car, as if it tries to prove to itself and surrounding people, "I am Mustang!" It is partially realized by attraction of numerous logos. In the front part, it is the horse that attracted the most attention. On the sides, there are developed heaps of real wheels, arches and usually door handles. Lamps are decoration of the stern. You will not forget or confuse this. Because of the ratio of overall length of 5 meters and almost 3 meters wheelbase, the overhangs are small. The width 1.88 meters and height 1.62 meters. Also works on sensation of stocky, dynamically body. Proportion of the crossover are really similar to a coupe. And clearance is also something average between a crossover and a coupe, about 15 centimeters. Elegant 19-inch wheels conceal front brakes with 4 piston red clippers. The exterior styling tries to support the interior. A forward panel is a puff pastry of cloth trimming insert like carbon and soft plastic. The central console is made to store it with a spacious niche below and numerous compartments on the top. And here the rotating puck with position P, R and D, L in already familiar from other models Ford. The upholstery styling is also familiar. The dark leather is stitched with red threads, which gives the seats both a beautiful design and a better shape of fixing the body, usually reminiscent of Ford cars in ST Line's version. It is necessary to tell that with such dimension there is enough space everywhere, both in the front and in the rear. Besides, you will find an armrest with cup holders, ventilation deflectors with a couple of jacks for gadgets, and perhaps all. Frankly speaking, it will be desirable to see heating of seats, and it is even possible to see a separate zone of climate for back passengers. After all, we speak not only about a sport coupe, but also about a crossover which should be more universal for a family, for children. For example, the trunk has not pumped up a large loading aperture, the correct rectangular form, various hooks, shelves, base for small things. The nominal value of 400 liters for 5-seaters does not reflect real convenience of its use. The same statement applies to the front luggage compartment, the volume of 81 liter and clever organizer. One of the focal points inside the Ford Mustang Mach-E is the huge 15-inch vertical Sync 4 display. There are high-quality graphics and correct translation, support for smartphones, and the ability to control voice, climate control, and the choice of driving modes. There is also an audio system volume control rig literally inscribed inside the display. It is a rare case when the designers not just print a monitor on the front panel but try to integrate it into the overall look of the cabin and play with the look. As the dashboard is also used LCD, but now 10.2-inch display and with a horizontal orientation. It displays speed and range, battery level, triggering of the lane control system is graphically slightly changed depending on the selected driving mode. The central place on the forward panel is taken by two displays at once, horizontal 10.2-inch as the instrument panel and vertical 15-inch for everything and everything control. By the way, here's an example of good localization, and I'm not talking about the translation now, but the regular navigation Ford Mustang Mach-E, which knows the location of the charging stations in Ukraine, and the electric Ford Mustang Mach-E on the move. With each kilometer of road you try to understand what is more in Ford Mustang Mach-E, a sport coupe or a family crossover, for example a rigid suspension, small rolls, sensation of integrity of the body. In a turn, it is formed from world of coupe, but the usual sharpness of steering wheel with neutral force is formed from world of crossovers. At last, setting of driving modes have undoubtedly come to us from the world of electric cars. Moreover, there are signs with humor, active, whisper, untamed. If the first two modes are created for usual daily smooth driving, in the last case, all heard of 351 horses which immediately carry forward at the slightest tuft of a gas pedal appears under pedal. Certainly today there is more powerful electric cars with dynamics of another level. However, to call a Ford Mustang Mach-E slow tongue does not turn out. Be sure the dynamics and controllability of Ford Mustang will be definitely enough to be the king of local streets and neighborhoods. In fact, acceleration within 5.6 seconds and sharp turns are easily given to an electric Ford Mustang Mach-E, and it's pleasant to drive it. Certainly, low center of gravity and completely independent suspension do their job. Electric car drives accurately and collected. It is stiff as sport. Also in untamed mode it pleasant with maximum sharp response to an accelerator pedal because of what it is preserved as more dynamic. Nevertheless, I think the element of Ford Mustang Mach-E 4X is not sportsmanship in absolute, but such optimum balance between enormous power reserve, sufficient power, good stability of the body, and average sharpness of steering wheel. And as for the first second acceleration and pressing into the back of the seat, I'm sure it will be other version of the electric car. For example, is charged version of the Ford Mustang Mach-E GT. What else is a charged version? Keep listening. Today it is the maximum for Mustang Mach-E all-drive AVD and the largest battery extended range. In this case, two electric motors with a total capacity of 258 kW or 351 horsepower and torque of 580 Nm are used. With these figures, the electric car can reach 180 km per hour and accelerate to 100 km in 5.1 seconds. At the same time, the maximum range reached 540 km according to measurement under the rule of VLTP. The battery has a nominal capacity of nearly 99 kWh. This battery is ready to accept direct current of up to 150 kW when charging, and AC charging is possible up to 11 kW. In total, it will take about 9 to 10 hours to fully charge the battery when using a three-phase charger such as Wellbox. All figures and clarification are extremely important because the range of the Ford Mustang Mach-E turns out to be very wide. In addition to the variant described above, there are also variants with rear-wheel drive RVD and standard range battery capacity of 75 kW per hour. By crossing rear-wheel drive, full-wheel drive and standard increased battery, we get 4 basic versions of the Ford Mustang Mach-E electric car with a range of 400 to 610 km, but an unchanged maximum of 180 km per hour. There are also other differences, for example 18 or 19-inch wheel, interior trim, availability of LED or matrix LED optics. By the way, any version of the Ford Mustang Mach-E electric car uses a liquid-cooled battery which promises us minimal degradation and long battery life. History from the past. The electric Ford Mustang Mach-E debuted originally in the specification for the US, then came the version for Europe. Along the way, power output has increased, power reserve indicators have changed, and here the groundwork for the future. A standalone modification, Ford Mustang Mach-E JT, it is real hot SUV electric car. 487 horsepower and 800 Newton meters of torque, all-wheel drive AVD and 99 kilowatt-hour battery, 500 kilometer range, top speed of 200 km, 100 km per hour acceleration in 3.7 seconds. Plus Ford performance seats, 20-inch wheels, Brembo brakes, adjustable Magna ride suspension, original body decor. The electric car is already available for ordering, but it's difficult to say when it will arrive live in Ukraine. The reference point is spring-summer 2022. The bottom line: expensive, exclusive. As it often says, the first sample always turned out rather expensive. Exactly this electric car Ford Mustang Mach-E, which became the hero of this article, is valued about $80,000, which is only a little cheaper than already known electric cars of premium brands. But even now, yielding to them in driving manners, electric car Ford Mustang Mach-E can surpass competitors in power reserve. Plus, the Ford Mustang Mach-E is not inferior in exclusivity. In fact, the European rivals have been on sale for several years, and the Ford Mustang is not hot novelty for the whole world. But the main struggle is a point not even with the European, but with another American electric car, Tesla Model Y. In a year and a half or two, Ford Mustang Mach-E will become more electric car, and one can expect a significant expansion of versions and price drop. That's when the main battle for customers between Ford and the Tesla Model Y will begin. Let Tesla stakes on its corporate style, big range and fast chargers, but Ford is not easily either. Interesting design and interior, a lot of modification, as well as an iconic name Mustang. It is difficult to say who will win this battle in the future. But is it possible to say already not that Ford has received a worthy and extremely original electric car in the form of Ford Mustang Mach-E?